In a world where everyone is posting everything, their coffee, their workouts, their relationships, their breakdowns, there's a specific type of person who posts nothing. They're on social media. They see your stories. They watch your reels. But their profile? Empty. No selfies, no updates, no digital footprint of their actual life. And here's what's fascinating. Psychology says these people aren't antisocial. They're not hiding. They're not depressed. They're operating on a completely different level of consciousness that most people will never understand. If you rarely post your personal life online, this video will make you feel seen. And if you're someone who posts everything, this might completely change how you view those silent observers in your life. Let's talk about the psychology of people who don't post their personal life on social media. Trait 1. They have internal validation, not external dependency. First, let's get one thing straight. These people don't need your likes to feel valuable. When most people post online, they're unconsciously asking a question. Do you see me? Do you approve? Am I enough? Every notification is a dopamine hit. Every like is a small validation that they matter. But people who don't post, they've already answered that question for themselves. Psychologists call this self-concept clarity. When your identity is so solid internally that you don't need external confirmation. Research shows that people who rely heavily on social media for self-esteem are more vulnerable to anxiety and depression. Why? Because their worth is tied to something they can't control. Other people's opinions. The person who doesn't post has broken free from that cycle. Their confidence comes from their values, their achievements, their character, not from a number on a screen. They don't need to prove they had a great vacation. They just had a great vacation. And that's a level of self-security most people spend their entire lives chasing. Trait 2. They value presence over performance. Here's something wild. When you're not thinking about how to post a moment, you're actually in the moment. Think about the last concert, wedding, or sunset you attended. How many people were watching it through their phone screen, making sure they captured the perfect angle? Now think about the person who just watched, felt, experienced. That's the person who doesn't post. Research on digital behavior shows that constant posting encourages shallow interactions. When your life is always on display, you shift from living to performing. You're not asking, is this beautiful? You're asking, will this get likes? People who stay private have figured out something profound. The best memories aren't the ones you share. They're the ones you live fully. They're not missing out. They're actually experiencing more because they're not filtering life through a lens of public approval. While you're worried about the caption, they're having the conversation. While you're adjusting the lighting, they're feeling the moment. And when the night is over, they remember it differently. They remember how it felt, not how it looked. Trait 3. They protect their peace like it's sacred. Let me ask you something. Have you ever posted something and then spent the next hour obsessively checking who liked it? Who didn't? What people might be thinking? That's not peace. That's anxiety dressed up as connection. People who don't post understand something critical. Social media is designed to hijack your attention and drain your mental energy. Every time you post, you open yourself up to judgment, comparison, and unsolicited opinions. The person who stays private has created a boundary. Psychologists link this to high emotional boundaries, the ability to know where your limits are and protect them before burnout arrives. They're not withdrawing from life. They're protecting their mental space. They've realized that constantly exposing your life to public commentary is like leaving all the windows in your house open. Sure, people can see in, but every opinion, every judgment, every comparison walks right through. So they close the windows, not because they're hiding, but because they value the peace of a private life over the chaos of public performance. And in a world that's noisier than ever, choosing silence is an act of self-respect. Trait 4. They invest in depth, not reach. Here's a truth that might sting. Most of your social media friends don't actually know you. They know your highlight reel, your carefully curated version, the person you want them to think you are. But the person who doesn't post, they have something different. They have 5 friends who know everything, not 500 acquaintances who know nothing. Research consistently shows that quality relationships matter more for happiness than quantity. Studies find that people who avoid posting often invest in fewer but deeper relationships. Instead of dozens of people liking their posts, they have a handful of people who actually call when life gets hard. These people understand that real intimacy doesn't happen in comment sections. It happens in living rooms, in phone calls, in face-to-face vulnerability. They'd rather have one person who truly knows them than 1,000 people who think they do. And that's not antisocial, that's wisdom. Because at the end of your life, you're not going to care how many followers you had. You're going to care about who showed up when it mattered. Trait 5. They're immune to comparison culture. Social media is a highlight reel comparing itself to your behind the scenes. Every time you scroll, you're seeing someone's best moment, best angle, best day. And whether you realize it or not, your brain is comparing. Psychologists call this upward social comparison, and it's directly linked to feelings of inadequacy, anxiety, and depression. Seeing endless vacation photos when you're stuck at work, engagement announcements when you're single, promotions when you just got rejected. The algorithm doesn't care about your mental health, it cares about your engagement. People who don't post have opted out of this toxic cycle. They're not comparing their Tuesday to someone else's Saturday. They're not measuring their worth against filtered perfection. They know that what you see online is a performance, not reality, and they refuse to compete in a rigged game. Studies show that reducing social media use leads to significant decreases in loneliness and depression. Research found that participants who limited their social media reported feeling less lonely, not more. The irony is beautiful. The people who are least visible online often feel most connected in real life. Trait 6. They understand that privacy is power. Here's something you might not realize. When you post everything, you lose leverage. That job promotion, everyone knows. That relationship, public knowledge, that struggle, now everyone's business. People who stay private maintain something rare in the digital age: mystery. And mystery is magnetic. When people can't scroll through your entire life, they're forced to actually ask you about it. Conversations become genuine. Curiosity replaces assumption. Psychologically, this creates deeper engagement. When someone doesn't broadcast their life, the information they do share in person becomes more valuable. Think about it. When someone tells you something personal that they haven't posted, it feels like a gift. It feels intimate. But when everything is already online, there's nothing left to discover. The person who stays private has figured this out. They're not less social. They're strategically private. They know that in a world where everyone overshares, withholding is the ultimate power move. Not because they're playing games, but because they understand that not everything needs an audience to be meaningful. Trait 7. They're highly introspective and self-aware. People who don't post frequently are often deeply introspective. They spend time thinking about their choices, their growth, the meaning behind their actions. Posting interrupts introspection. Because when you're constantly documenting life, your attention shifts outward, toward presentation, perception, and performance. But when you're not posting, you're processing. You're asking, what did that experience teach me? How do I really feel about this? What matters most? Psychologists distinguish between public self-consciousness and private self-consciousness. Public self-consciousness is worrying about how others see you. Private self-consciousness is reflecting on your own thoughts and values. People who avoid posting fall into the second category. They're not performing for an audience. They're building a relationship with themselves. And that self-awareness creates emotional intelligence. It creates better decision-making. It creates a stronger sense of identity. They know who they are because they've spent time figuring it out, without the noise of public opinion clouding the process. While everyone else is curating their image, they're discovering their truth. Trait 8. They've mastered the art of living without proving. Here's the ultimate trait. They don't need to prove anything. Most people post to document success, to show they're happy, to prove they're living well. But why do you need to prove it? Who are you trying to convince? People who don't post have reached a level of self-acceptance where their life doesn't require documentation to feel real. They don't post the promotion because the promotion was for them, not for applause. They don't post the relationship because the relationship is a private sanctuary, not a public announcement. They don't post the vacation because the memories are theirs to keep, not yours to judge. This isn't arrogance. This is freedom. Freedom from the exhausting cycle of performing, proving, and seeking validation. They've figured out that the most powerful way to live is quietly, intentionally, and unapologetically, whether anyone sees it or not. And that's a level of maturity most people never reach, because living without proving requires you to be secure in who you are when nobody's watching. And that's rare. Now, before you think I'm saying everyone should delete their accounts, I'm not. Social media isn't inherently bad. Posting isn't inherently shallow. But there's something we need to talk about: intention. Ask yourself, why do I post? Am I sharing to connect, to inspire, to document memories for myself? Or am I posting because I need validation? Because I'm lonely? Because I'm trying to prove something to people whose opinions don't actually matter? The person who doesn't post has asked themselves this question, and they didn't like the answer. So they chose differently. They chose presence over performance, depth over reach, peace over chaos. And the beautiful thing? You can choose that too. You don't have to delete everything. But maybe you pause before posting and ask, is this for me or is this for them? Because the most fulfilling life isn't the one that looks best online. It's the one that feels best when you're alone with your thoughts. The person who doesn't post has figured that out. They've learned that the richest life isn't the one everyone sees. It's the one you live so fully that you forget to document it. So here's my challenge to you. If you're someone who posts everything, try a 30-day experiment. Post nothing personal. Just observe. Watch how it changes your experience of life. I bet you'll notice things you've been missing. And if you're someone who never posts, this video was for you. You're not weird. You're not antisocial. You're just operating on a frequency most people don't understand yet. Keep protecting your peace. Keep living deeply. Keep choosing substance over spectacle. Because the world needs more people who live fully, not more people who perform perfectly. Drop a comment below. Are you team post everything or team post nothing? No judgment. I'm genuinely curious. And if this video resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear this. The quiet ones, the private ones, the ones who live loudly offline. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.